Wrestling fans, are you ready? For the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world, let's get ready to rumble! I'm back, so deal with it. Let's do this! Finally, The Rock has come back!
Live TV is awesome.
The spirit of Ultimate Warrior will run forever!
And welcome back, folks, to WrestleRant Radio right here on EC Radio. I'm your host of the most, Graham Juice and Matthew, sitting alongside the illustrious, the wrestling aficionado, RJ Marceau. RJ, how are you doing tonight?
Doing good tonight, Graham.
Got a lot to talk about. Fastlane this past Sunday, Monday Night Raw from last night, a few other Hall of Fame notes as well. The Bushwhackers are Hall of Fame, baby. They are way before Demolition. They are way before... I don't care about any of the other tag teams. The Bushwhackers are going to the Hall of Fame. So
joke.
Pumped. No, it's a joke. But still, though, before we get into all of that, we got Marlon on the line. At Marlon the Man from Twitter. How are you doing tonight, Marlon?
I'm doing great, Graham. Thanks for asking. How are you?
Doing good. And like I said, how can you not be great? We are on the road to WrestleMania. We got, 33 days until WrestleMania 31? And the show is looking up to be great. It's shaping up to be one of the better WrestleManias in recent years. I'll say it right now. WrestleMania 30 this time last year, I was pumped, but I was a little bit skeptical about the card. Right now, WrestleMania 31, it could flop for all we know. But look at the card right now. We've got Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. RJ sitting right next to me booing because I know he wanted Daniel Bryan to win on Sunday, but the match at Fastlane wasn't really that bad, so I don't have a huge problem with it. However, we also got seemingly John Cena and Rusev again. Not a huge fan of that, but the other matches can make up for it. Orton and Rollins, seemingly again.
If Orton and Rollins, they would announce
If we got to wait and see. Undertaker, Bray Wyatt, Triple H,
that could be a disaster, and so could Triple H and Sting. They have the card.
It has the potential.
On paper, it looks really good.
Yes,
but it has potential to flop really bad.
Exactly like WrestleMania 29 and 27 too. Like they had the potential to be really good because I wasn't excited about like Swagger and Del Rio. I don't really know. And then it was like the whole WrestleMania sucked.
I think it's just like Lesnar and Wyatt. Lesnar and Undertaker looked good on paper. Match sucked. Cena and Wyatt looked good on paper. Match sucked. It looks good on paper, but
it's got to live up to those
especially
lofty
guys that you haven't seen together. Like we've seen Rusev and Cena, they had a decent match at Fastlane, so it's not like we're not gonna shit all over the match. I think the match at WrestleMania will be good, but the guys that really haven't wrestled, they kind of you have to have the chemistry. Wyatt and Undertaker, that's a toss up. I feel like
match.
We gotta wait and see. I think reports are out right now that Undertaker may not even be on the show until WrestleMania. They might be taking the WrestleMania 20, the WrestleMania 20 route that they took with Taker and Kane. Remember, Undertaker didn't show up until WrestleMania, so they gotta wait and see. But that's shaping up to look like a great show. Fastlane on Sunday I thought was enjoyable. We'll get into that in a minute. Raw, not so much, and we'll get into that in a few minutes as well. But I do want to talk about this. One of the bigger stories right now, and this might surprise you, a lot of people talking about this, hashtag Give Divas a Chance. That was trending worldwide last night on Twitter. And I wasn't going to originally kick off with this, but I just saw these tweets from AJ Lee directed at Stephanie McMahon. I thought they're pretty significant. So I just want to talk about these tweets real quick. She said in the tweets, directed towards Stephanie, your female wrestlers have record-selling merchandise and have starred in the highest-rated segment of the show several times, and yet they receive a fraction of the wages and screen time of the majority of the male roster. Hashtag use your voice. So, Marlon, I'll start with you first. What were your thoughts on the whole hashtag when it started trending worldwide last night? And this, of course, came after the very controversial tag team match between the Bella Twins, Paige and AJ, when the Bella Twins won in 30 seconds or something like that. This started trending worldwide. These tweets are now out on Twitter from AJ herself, of course mixed in with the whole CM Punk thing right now, that lawsuit, which we might get to. But, what are your thoughts on this whole situation?
I didn't know it was trending worldwide last night. I just saw it today for the first time, and I was kind of shocked that I seen it trending. It's a nice movement from all the wrestling fans to actually speak their voice because these divas can put on good matches, especially like you said, Paige and Emma. They're very capable. I got nothing against the Bella Twins. They're good performers, but they're not exactly on the same level of a Paige or an AJ Lee. And just before we got on the show here, I'd seen AJ's tweets and putting Stephanie McMahon on blast. That's crazy. I don't know how that's going to affect her career, especially during this lawsuit thing, but I'm excited to see what it does.
it's been really up in the air right now whether AJ's even going to come back at all. Like, I was thinking, like, set in stone, like, AJ's back. She's going to be back on Sunday or Monday at Fastlane or on Raw on Monday to help out Paige in her feud with the Bella Twins, which made the most sense, and I still think that could happen because right now there's really no match set in stone for WrestleMania for the Divas. Like, last year we didn't even know until, like, the week before they made it official, the Divas Invitational, Vicky Guerrero style. So this year we really have no idea. I still think we might get Paige and AJ versus the Bellas. A match I couldn't really care less about, but I mean, from a storyline standpoint, it might be okay. We'll see. But yeah, like I was going back to what I was saying before, it's really all up in the air right now with the CM Punk lawsuit and him not, of course, not being on the best of terms with the company or vice versa. Do you think that affected AJ Lee's return? And what are your thoughts, RJ, on this whole hashtag give Divas a chance thing?
I think it's amazing. I think it's something that needs to be voiced. Like, if you just look at NXT alone, the Divas get chances and they get time to work matches, and they've been putting on a hell of a show down there. Plenty of people that are in developmental, so you wouldn't expect them to have a great match, but they're putting on a better match than we've seen in the Divas division for probably in 10 years, probably since Trish and Lita left. I feel like the Divas have the ability to have good matches. They just get the short end of the stick. Like 2 years ago at WrestleMania, they weren't even on the card. They got kicked off, and last year they barely had a match. It was like less than 5 minutes, probably.
Right after the streak.
None of them had an entrance.
Yeah, exactly.
None of them had an entrance. They had to go right after the streak. I was in the building. They were booing the entire match. None of the Divas, even AJ Lee, didn't even get an entrance. And it was just a sloppy match. I think they need more time. Last night was just a kick in the blow to the Divas. Like, right after the match started.
Just why even bother?
Exactly. Just a waste of time. We had other segments that they could have cut down on or just maybe not done and let the Divas have a match. Like, I was excited when I saw Paige and Emma teaming up. I was like, finally giving Emma and Paige a chance to show what they have. And then they give us this 30-second crap that it's not fair to the Divas, it's not fair to the fans. I think this is when the Divas should voice their opinion. I think Stephanie McMahon and the whole WWE will look at this and say, geez, we have to get the fans want to see the Divas in action, so we got to give them what they want.
Exactly. I could not agree more. I think it was this week a year ago. NXT Arrival. I'm huge with dates here. This week a year ago, NXT Arrival, Paige and Emma having one of the best women's matches I've ever seen. And like you said, the women down in NXT have had some of the best women's matches, I think, like you said, since Trish and Lita. Not a single women's match on the main roster comes to mind that has beaten out Paige and Emma, Charlotte and Natalya, Charlotte and Banks, Charlotte and Bayley, that four-way. Yeah, that fatal four-way was amazing. So it really does suck. I mean, I feel for the main roster talent. It's not their fault. I mean, Rosa Mendes and Cameron aren't the best in-ring athletes. But, I mean, if you put two people in there that the people care about, for the most part, a Paige or a Nikki, and you give them some time and some storyline direction, the whole feud between the Bella Twins and Paige has been, like, I don't really care because there's been no reason to care aside from
the first match was 30 seconds or something too, right? With the kiss and everything.
Exactly. It's Survivor Series a couple months ago. The AJ Lee match, a couple months ago at Survivor Series, and that really didn't lead to anything. Yeah. And AJ Lee hasn't been on TV since. But and I would love to think that this is leading, and I've been petitioning for this forever, and I wrote an article about this right after the Rumble saying that AJ and Stephanie should have a match at WrestleMania. At the time, didn't make any sense whatsoever from a storyline standpoint, even though they've teased it a few times. Like, I remember back in September, because you and I have talked about this in the past, RJ. She was like, oh, hi, boss lady, and stuff like that. Like, they've teased it before, so they can kind of go off that. But aside from that, like, recently, like, it'd be random. Going off of these tweets, there'd be a reason to do it, and the whole Punk thing, which I doubt they would mention on TV. Mm-hmm. But still, though, it would be awesome considering we were supposed to get Punk and Triple H last year. Now we would get Stephanie and AJ.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, what about the other divas? What about the champion? The champion would not even get on the card.
That's exactly it. Like, I don't know what you would do with Paige and Nikki, like the people that are actually getting like TV time right now. Stephanie hasn't really been doing much.
The tweets could even be a work too. Who knows?
They could very well be a work, exactly. And I mean, it's weird because, like, I would love to think, like I said, that this is setting up something for WrestleMania, but the timing of that tweet and the hashtag Give Divas a Chance thing, it's just really weird. So maybe it is a work, and if it is, it's like the most brilliant timing ever because people are so frustrated over the women right now. But, so I'll ask you quickly, RJ, what do you see happening for the women at WrestleMania? We talk about our Bray Wyatt Undertakers, our Lesnar and Roman Reigns. What do you see happening for the women at WrestleMania?
I'm hoping for a fatal four-way with the Bellas against each other with Paige and AJ Lee. I think that would make sense. They could go back on the whole Brie being Nikki's like assistant. AJ could be pissed because Brie screwed her over in the Survivor Series match. And then Paige could do the same thing with them screwing her in her matches. And then Nikki's kind of like I don't know, she's the champion, obviously, but I think that would make a lot of sense. Instead of having all the divas in a stupid battle royal that no one could care about. And hopefully, if they gave this match time, it could be really good, I think.
And the only 3 women to have held that Divas Championship in the last year since last year WrestleMania, AJ, Paige, and Nikki. And then, of course, you said the history there with Brie and Nikki and everything else. And this was a match I thought we were going to see at Night of Champions. Remember, Brie was kept out of it and it was a triple threat, which was a great triple threat. Once again, going to show that if they're given time and a story, even though that story sucked between the Bellas, they gave it some time to develop. And maybe we could see the same thing at WrestleMania. So I would love to think that AJ is coming back. I still say that there is a chance of that happening. I'm not going to say that she's completely, gone from the company. Otherwise, she probably wouldn't have written that. But that said, Marlon, I want to get your thoughts on what do you think the Divas Championship or Divas match will be at WrestleMania, if there even might be one?
At this point, it's hard to even imagine if there's even going to be one. I mean, just the way they've been booked, there's no story going on. All it is the Bellas are making fun of Paige. Maybe, a tag team if AJ comes back is the only thing I could see, AJ and Paige versus the Bellas. I don't even think it'll be for the title or anything. That doesn't matter, and it's just kind of out there. The title doesn't matter in any of the matches, really. I kind of thought Paige would revitalize the Divas roster when she debuted last year, 2 years ago, or whatever it was, but she's been kind of just booked the same way as the Bellas and all the other Divas where it doesn't matter.
Exactly.
They haven't made me care about it.
Exactly. And that kind of goes back to the same feud that they had with AJ and Paige about a year ago. Everyone got their hopes up. I thought it was going to be amazing. It goes back to that same word, potential. Like, it had the potential to be great. Paige had the potential to, quote-unquote, save the Divas division, but at the end of the day, it's still the same people.
Then all they do instead of having a real feud is make them into lesbians. It's like, that's obviously fake. Like,
Exactly. Like, that's not a real storyline. They were really night and day with that whole AJ Paige feud. Like, they're lesbians, they're best friends, they're enemies, they're back to being best friends. Like, it didn't make any sense. And, at the end of the day, it's the same people writing this crap every single week. You got your writing team for NXT, and then you got your writing team for the women on main roster. Like, I don't know if it's going to change, because Stone Cold brought it up in the podcast, Triple H, a couple weeks ago. He said, why aren't you giving the women more time? I love what they're doing down in NXT, but on the main roster, you're not giving them the time of day. And he said he agrees. He's a big fan of the women, but at the end of the day, he's not the one making the call. It's Vinnie Mac. So maybe we see a change going forward. I don't know if it's going to be like overnight with this whole hashtag thing. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But I look forward to what happens with the Divas going forward. We talked about this beforehand. I do want to talk about this very briefly before we go into the Fastlane. The Bushwhackers are WWE Hall of Fame bound. We kind of spoke our piece before the show went on the air, but we'll say it right now here on the show. RJ, I know you were not very happy with the Bushwhackers going into the Hall of Fame. Personally, I don't have a problem with it, but allow you to speak your piece here about the Bushwhackers going to the Hall of Fame.
I just think that they're just way too early. I think there's so many more tag teams that deserve to be in before them.
You want to mention the list?
Hart Foundation, British Bulldogs, Demolition, Hardys, Dudleys, Edge and Christian. I think those are a good 6 tag teams that deserve to be in the Hall of Fame before the Bushwhackers. Like, I guess they had... I don't know their career before the WWE. I guess they had a good career in, like, going around the country and world, but come on, like, I just don't think they should be in before other teams. I think... Now they're just scrounging for people. Like, Kevin Nash is supposedly going to go in. Like, is X-Pac going in too next? Like, I think they're just really desperate for names right now. I think it also doesn't help that a lot of people don't want to go in. Like, if I was, like, a Rick Rude or one of them, I'd be like, screw you, I don't want to go in. Fucking Rikishi got in before me and stuff like that. I think they need to make it more legitimate, but when they keep adding more people that don't deserve to be in it, it's ridiculous.
Well, we talked about that last week. I don't know what's stopping Rick Rude from going in. I mean, he's dead, so it's not his decision. I mean, I don't know why they're not putting him in. That's a whole other story. But with the Bushwhackers, I don't have a problem with it, but I'm not...
The thing is, you don't have a problem with anyone, so it doesn't matter.
I know,
you let the whole celebrity wing in, for God's sakes. You don't care.
I know, but it's not like I'm welcoming. I absolutely agree. I think there's other tag teams that are more deserving. And like you said, I think it's more fitting. Like right now, if it was up to me, I would put in Demolition. If only because a lot of the more recent talk with the whole Ascension thing. Like that whole thing recently, we're better than Demolition. I'm not saying they need to bring them back and do a match at WrestleMania, but with all the talk of Demolition, we haven't seen them on TV in God knows how long. And I'm not saying it's going to bring in like new business or anything, but it would be fitting with the current story that they're telling.
I don't know. I just think like when they brought the Hall of Fame back in 2004, I thought it was a great idea. They had legit names that deserved to be in the Hall of Fame. That everyone in that category were well-known people that deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. Harley Race, Bobby the Brain Heenan, Junkyard Dog, Big John Studd, Greg Valentine. There's a couple other guys I can't think of. Sergeant Slaughter. Like, these are guys that that they deserve to go in.
Like you said, they've inducted almost everybody at this point.
Exactly.
All the people that are really, really worthy. So that's the only reason why. Like, we have Savage in it, so at this point, people can't really bitch and moan like this person going in before Savage, but we can still... And Bruno as well, exactly. Bruno, Warrior, and Savage were like my 3 people to make this legitimate. Now they're in. I mean, now, I don't want to say they're scrapping for the bottom of the barrel, because like you said, there's people that can go in, but they're not inducting them. Like, the Owen Hart thing I understand from the whole, standpoint of the Harts not wanting him to go in and whatever. Martha Hart, I think her name is, his widow, that won't allow him to go in. But Rick Rude, like you said before, Demolition, there's a lot of people going down the line that deserve to go in. Eric Bischoff, I think, could go in at some point. I don't know what his status is right now with
Easily
WCW.
Should go in.
I don't know what his...
They'd still let him. Dude, he came back to WWE.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, he did. Eric
Recently?
Dude, no. You said WCW.
Oh, I'm sorry, TNA. I think his status is TNA right now.
It don't matter.
It doesn't matter. The same difference. TNA, WCW, pretty much the same thing at the end of the day.
Yeah, the guys in 2004 were Greg Valentine, Don Morocco, Harley Race, Jesse the Body Ventura, Junkyard Dog, Sergeant Slaughter, Superstar Billy Graham, Tito Santana, and Bobby the Brain Heenan. Yeah. That's a pretty stacked Hall of... That's probably the best stacked Hall of Fame class.
Yeah, because at that point, they didn't really have many people in, aside from the few people they inducted in like the late 90s. So, of course, they're going to stack it. The first few ones are stacked. They had Hogan
and
Hogan 05. They had Bret Hart in 06, 07.
Hogan, Piper, Jimmy Hart, Bob Orton, Paul Orndorff, Nikolai Volkov, and Iron Sheik in 05. So.
Yeah, another stacked class that year, too. But, Marlon, I want to get your thoughts. What are your thoughts on the Bushwhackers going to the WWE Hall of Fame this year?
Well, I'm in 2 different schools of thought. I hate the Bushwhackers. I can't stand watching their matches, and I do believe there's like way more teams deserving to go in before them. I would have liked to seen Demolition go in, like you said, because while they're getting talked about on TV by the Ascension, put them in the Hall of Fame. It's a good way to get people to go on the network and watch some of their old pay-per-view matches, right? But at the same time, maybe it is good to put the Bushwhackers in, because next year you can put Demolition in, so there's more people to care about every single year. You got to save some of the bigger names for the coming years, because you can't just front load all these classes, and then they really will be scraping the bottom of the barrel in like 3 or 4 years' time. So I don't know. I would have liked to see Demolition or British Bulldogs, but at the end of the day, the Bushwhackers were going to go in eventually, so might as well just put them in now.
Exactly. I don't think they can stack everybody in the same class, having like a stack class. Even though like we did in like 2004, but that was when it was first brought back, and that was 10 years ago. But yeah, like I said, it's not like they're inducting like Paul London and Brian Kendrick or something like that. At least they have some.
Soon, don't worry.
Hey, they better get in at some point.
They'll be in at some point, I'm sure. But I'm sure they will be. I'm sure they will be. 2020. I'm calling it right now. They will be in the WWE Hall of Fame. But
they're one of my favorite teams ever.
Paul London and Brian Kendrick. Brian Kendrick is back on NXT tomorrow, too, by the way. I'm looking forward to that. I'm sorry. It's not Brian Kendrick. It's the Brian Kendrick. It's the man with a plan, baby. He's coming back to face someone in NXT. Rhino last week, dude. I want to talk about this for like 2 seconds. Rhino coming back had me marking the hell out. That was
amazing.
Awesome. 10 years gone from the company. Couldn't care less about him in TNA, but when that music hit in NXT last week and it squashed Elias Sampson, that was awesome. NXT right now is kicking all sorts of ass. But anyway, moving on here. Fastlane on Sunday. We won't go match by match, but kicking it off, 6-man tag team match. The match itself, inconsequential, and the fact we're getting a rematch Thursday on SmackDown kind of speaks for itself, that they don't even give 2 craps about the match. But afterwards, though, Randy Orton making his long way to return after 4 months, and a hot return attacking Seth Rollins. And the next night on Raw, we're thinking he's going after Seth. He semi-aligns with the Authority, accepts their business deal, tag teams with him in the main event, and before he can punt him, he says, whatever, and then he walks off. So, before I go into my thoughts in this, Marlon, I'll start with you. What are your thoughts on Randy Orton's return and the very strange booking of him on last night on Raw?
I do just want to say one thing first about that match. Did you see Kane selling the DDT and the RKO? Amazing, just taking it on both knees.
Kane in 2015. Same thing with
Anyway, the match was whatever. We all knew Randy Orton was going to return. that was all kind of what we were waiting for. Even the crowd knew. It was a pretty sweet return. I was happy to see him. I've always been a big Randy Orton fan. You know, he's got kind of a crap character, but he's one of the better wrestlers in the company. So I was really stoked about this return to set up the feud with Seth going into WrestleMania. And then last night I'm thinking, nice, he's going to RKO him right at the beginning of the show. Okay, he's going to RKO him right here while he's talking to the Authority. Oh, he's going to punt him. Oh, well, he won't actually punt him, but he's going to RKO him. Okay, he did nothing. What's going on? So, I mean, obviously the match is still going to happen. He'll turn on him next week or the week after or something, but it's just, that's one less week they could use to build the feud. So I don't know, it's kind of weird for me right now. I'm just interested to see what they're going to do with it.
That's exactly it. They have, at this point, 4 or 5 weeks, so less than 5 weeks or 4 more Raws to build the WrestleMania. So I don't know at what point they're waiting to have Randy Orton turn on Seth Rollins. Like, I thought the perfect time to do it was on Monday night after the match or during the match, whatever. Like, they booked him to come back and have him attack Seth Rollins. Like, the booking of it at the pay-per-view was great. And the way they did it, and I thought on Monday they would have him attack him again or something along those lines. Like, I understand the approach they're taking with the slow burn, but they did that in November. Like, they've already done
Well, bring him back a month ago then.
Exactly. Then why? That's exactly it. Why not bring him back right after the Rumble or in the Rumble
He could have been in
itself?
the match at the Fastlane pay-per-view.
That's exactly it. Then you could have done something. Yeah, well, exactly. Have him in the 6th man instead of Big Show or Kane, God forbid, and then have him turn on Seth there. Like, they only have 5 weeks. Yep. So, like, I don't think they're looking at the calendar here because Undertaker's not back yet, and neither is Sheamus. And, like, I have no idea what Bryan's doing at WrestleMania. That's another issue, and we'll talk about that later. But, RJ, your thoughts on Randy Orton and his odd booking of the last 48 hours?
Love the return to Randy Orton. It's been 4 months, way too long. The Viper had one of his better runs coming into the end of the year, and kind of sucked that he wasn't at TLC, Royal Rumble, or Fastlane. Well, he came in Fastlane, but like I said, I think when I first heard them saying like they're semi-booking, I thought, or semi-alliance with the Authority, I was like, all right, they're turning at the end of the, it's like they're so predictable. He's gonna turn on at the end of the Raw,
like with Ryback.
With Ryback, yeah. But I think that's what I thought was like what they should have done. Like maybe he goes to punt him and then Rollins just rolls out of the ring. Like without him doing anything, the Seth Rollins kind of like. It like made like, all right, is this not happening now? Like, are they going a different direction with Seth Rollins and Orton? Like, I didn't really understand what they were doing. I felt like they probably obviously will work on the feud and probably like SmackDown or Raw. They'll probably kick it off with, or eventually turning on him. But maybe they're not gonna do that. Maybe they go a different direction. I don't know. Maybe they do Rollins and Bryan and Orton and Sheamus. I don't know what they're gonna do. I think obviously the recipe is for the Rollins and Orton, but he comes back for Fastlane, going to kick Seth Rollins' ass. The next night they have a semi-alliance. That always happens. Like, okay, then they usually connect at night and turning on him. So it was kind of awkward how they had him RKO Jamie Noble, I think it was, and then like kind of scared away Joey Mercury, and then he picked Seth Rollins up and then just left. It was so random and weird. So I think SmackDown, I think they have to turn, like, I don't think the 5 weeks thing's as big as you're making a deal. I think you're a little high on the 5 weeks left. I don't think it really matters. If they build it correctly, it won't matter how long they take. But it is what it is. Hopefully they decide to turn anyone sooner rather than later.
In storyline, though, look at it this way. In storyline, Randy Orton is kind of making up for Seth Rollins attacking him, kind of forgiving the Authority for everything they did. He had 4 months of his career taken away from him. He was out of action for 4 months, and then basically after last night, what that told me was that he pretty much forgave him, put his differences aside, and tag team with him. That's not like Randy Orton at all. Like, you look him the wrong way, he's going to RKO you, like the character, you know? So the booking of that whole thing last night, I just don't get, and I understand what they're doing. Like, a lot of people like the slow burn approach. I like that too. What they did last year, like you said, one of the better runs that he's had in quite some time, was awesome, and I thought the attack was great. And to Marlon's point, I didn't think of that, but you could have brought him back a month ago and did that then. I just think, like Marlon said, we need all the weeks that we can get with them feuding with one another. And like you said, maybe they change the direction. Maybe they do a tag team match at WrestleMania. I really have no idea. I think they're better off doing a one-on-one match. We'll have to wait and see. But, yeah, that was just really weird. If anything else that I thought, because Raw was not, I don't want to say it was terrible, but it was really not noteworthy.
Nothing worthy.
For a
pre-Mania Raw.
Exactly.
For post pay-per-view Raw, it was very not noteworthy at all.
For the first Raw on the road to WrestleMania aside from the Royal Rumble, like they needed something big, like the return of Taker or a big match, a big moment.
Literally the biggest part of the night was the Bushwhackers. I swear
Pretty
to God.
much. There was nothing else on that show.
Cena and Rusev, he said no, so that doesn't get us nothing for them for Mania. Then the Rollins and Orton thing was weird. Then Reigns and Bryan kind of weird.
That was the only highlight of the show. That promo with Heyman too.
Yeah, it was so weird. Kick his ass. I don't know. It's so weird too. I think. But besides the Heyman promo, there really wasn't much. Stardust lost to Jack Swagger. Who cares? The Divas match was probably the highlight of the night of what happened. It was probably the highlight of the night.
In a bad way, exactly.
In a bad way. And then
the Sting video package I thought was great. That was really good. Where they did the highlight of his career. The whole Sting and Triple H thing. We'll talk about that in a minute. I thought that was great on Sunday. But yeah, I think that's really it, though. I think because it was a post-pay-per-view show, they needed something big to close the show with.
Well, maybe we just expect too much.
Maybe that's it. I mean, in 2015, maybe you expect too much from WWE's creative. But I don't know. I was just waiting for something big at the end of the show. Usually, I don't know if it's intentional, but sometimes when it happens, with a big moment, like with Punk's pipe bomb or with not Lesnar's return, there a few of the other great moments in the last couple of years that closed the Raw. The Raw itself, the Nexus debut was a prime example. That Raw's viewer choice thing, it was horrendous. One of the worst shows I've ever seen. It was Hornswoggle and Khali, versus the Hart Dynasty or something. It's on the network, you can see it. But then they closed the night with one of their biggest, hottest angles in a long time. So I don't know what the deal with that is, and maybe they can kind of fix it on the road to WrestleMania. I don't know. I mean, last year when
it reminds me of the build-up to 29 because I just didn't care.
Exactly.
You knew how all the matches were going to end.
Exactly. That's exactly it.
Yeah, I don't care. I want to see the matches.
I'm still excited, but I feel like they could be doing more.
Sure, but
29 was okay, Del Rio and
they don't care.
Swagger. I could give two shits who wins. I knew Cena was going to win the Rock match. That was so predictable.
Yeah.
I think that was just another they kind of just picked it up and just threw it out the curtain come on guys, save us. And 29 was a disaster.
29 was we're going to make sure the show sucks, so 30 is going to be a lot better. That's pretty much the tagline of what that WrestleMania was. 31, maybe. I'm not going to say it is, but it feels like this year.
It has potential.
It has potential. Like we said before, I think the show could be really good. I'm not going to say
27 had potential, too.
Oh, yeah, that's exactly it. That had potential, too. And 25, and that was not a good show, aside from Taker and Shawn. But, the last few odd WrestleManias have not been great, and I'm hoping 31 breaks that streak. But, again, 32 is the one they're going to be building towards with 100,000 people in that stadium.
Yeah, everyone's talking about that, how that's going to be one of the best shows ever.
That's exactly it. Are they going to do Sting and Undertaker on that show?
Well, what they should be worried is about putting on a good show every WrestleMania.
That's exactly it.
It's their biggest show of the year. That's going to be the biggest buys. They should make sure it's the best show every year. Like I said, going to 27, 29, do they really think that was going to be the greatest shows? Swagger and Del Rio? No. They had the Shield and I don't know who the hell they wrestled.
29.
Orton, Sheamus, and Big Show. Okay.
Who turned heel again after the
Who
match?
turned heel for the 100th time. Then they had Team Hell No against Ziggler and Big E
versus Team Hell No.
That made no sense.
It was a 4-hour episode of Raw.
Exactly. 29 was literally a 4-hour episode of Raw. Was all it was. Then Rock and Cena, everyone knew Cena was going to win.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to think of other matches.
And then 20 finishers.
Yeah.
20 finishes,
They should go into every WrestleMania and make sure it's looks on paper, this is going to be the best show of the year. And 27, 29, 25, 23, I can't really remember all the matches. I know Cena and Michaels was good. 21 was great, and then 19 them were obviously good too.
Yeah, we talked about last week, the best streak of WrestleMania.
17 are two of the best ever.
Yeah, exactly. But I think they need to focus, they're going to with the focus on 32. Focus on this year now.
They got to focus on right 32. Now. That's exactly it.
32 has so much potential. I think it's because 32 has more potential. They have more matches that you can just name off the top of your head now that could be great matches.
Yeah.
So I think, looking at this year's card, it's all right, these are matches we already know we're going to have in it for a couple months. But next year, Shield in the main event, or Sting and Undertaker, Cena and Bryan again. There's so many potential matches you can make a year in advance. This is what you want to see.
Exactly.
But I just think they should work with this year.
We've known Reigns versus Lesnar is going to happen for 7 or 8 months.
Yeah, we've known that was going to happen dating back to SummerSlam when he won back the belt. So. Still, I mean, I think, like you said, I think they should focus not even on WrestleMania, but even the creatives. You got to stop worrying about the future and make right now the best thing. Because if you don't make right now worth watching, then people won't care about the future.
And they won't buy the pay-per-view.
Exactly, that's exactly it. So hopefully they can focus on
Or
that and
the
make it a
network.
good show. But that said, though, other things from Fastlane, I thought the Triple H and Sting thing I thought was great. That was a really good segment. The show itself I enjoyed. It's not a great show, but that was one of the better moments from that show, in my opinion. So, RJ, I'll start with you. What were your initial impressions of the segment involving Triple H and Sting on Sunday night?
I liked it, but I was thinking about what we're talking about. I hate how they keep bringing up the WWE versus WCW thing. Dude, this was something that happened 15 years ago. They really need to get away from the WCW and WWE thing. They make it seem like Triple H is the baddest guy in WWE.
At that time,
exactly. He was fourth or fifth best at that time. Austin and Rock, way better than him, and so is Taker. So I don't know why they keep bringing up like WCW and WWE. I don't get that at all. I guess because they really don't. Besides him like screwing his, because I think they have to use that because you screwed my job over, but I got it a month back later, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, they
like,
can't
use
that
anymore
exactly.
because it's so dumb.
But I feel like they can use Sting's first match. Like I know they mentioned, I don't even know if they mentioned that when Sting, confirmed the match. I mean, it's been known for a while that he's going to be wrestling, but I mean, it still should feel like a big deal, like the first time he's ever wrestled in WWE.
Maybe they're not going to make it that big of a deal because if it's a poop fest, maybe.
That's a good point. That's a very good point.
If they keep saying it's his first match, everyone's going to be excited, then if it's not even close to what they expect, the people want to crap all over it.
That's exactly it. So I'm hoping that's not the case.
Exactly, but I thought it was a good segment. Sting didn't say anything. Put the bat right under his chin. I was hoping Triple H hit him. I think it's kind of dumb having Sting go over in that moment. I think they should have had Triple H go over to get like some momentum. Now like Triple H looks like the little pussy.
And Sting has to win.
Exactly. Because then like the week before when he came, Triple H fell down, like was scared. Then he got showing up on Fastlane. So now Triple H has to get back at him. But we're not going to see Sting probably till the Raw before Mania,
exactly,
or WrestleMania. So then Triple H looks weak going in the whole time. It's kind of, they should have had Triple H go over, but I'm not booking it. So
yeah, he could have pointed his bat at the WrestleMania sign and then attacked him afterwards. He attacked him anyway. Yeah,
just don't do the sledgehammer.
Exactly, don't do the the skull, the death drop or whatever it is. But I thought the segment itself was really good. And like you said, I'm not a fan of the narrative of WCW versus WWE because if you look at it this way, it's like you're pitting the loser of the Monday Night War versus WWE. And in a way, if you think about it, and if Sting wins, and he has to win, that they're saying that the loser of the Monday Night Wars is better than WWE, if that kind of makes any sense, if they have WCW beat the WWE guy. And I don't know, like you said, I think they should kind of stray away from that, focus it on it being Sting's first match, even if the match sucks. I think that's what it should be about. And I'm actually kind of glad in retrospect, because I was initially frustrated with them doing Triple H, Sting, and then Undertaker, Wyatt, like having the two on the same show, Taker and Sting, and not doing them one-on-one. But I think it's actually a really good idea, because Sting's first match obviously has to be at WrestleMania, and they need to get a good feel of how he is in the ring. So if the match this year sucks, they can get a better feel for if they can do Taker, Sting next year, And I'm still hoping that Sting wins at WrestleMania against Triple H, and the next night Undertaker comes out, because he's not going to show up until WrestleMania apparently, which makes sense. Wins at WrestleMania. Next night on Raw, he comes out to speak his first words.
Whoa. Undertaker wins at WrestleMania?
I think that's going to happen. I think it's happening, dude. # book it. I mean, it's a lose-lose situation either way, but I think if they're going to do Sting, Undertaker next year, Undertaker's going to win. I mean, it's not my favorite result, but like I said, it's a lose-lose either way. But Undertaker wins. Sting wins. Next night on Raw, Undertaker comes out to speak his first words in over a year or something like that. Sting comes out, do the face-off to close Raw, which everyone thought was going to close Raw last year, and it didn't happen because Sting didn't officially sign by that point. But then that's how you book the WrestleMania 32 match. So we'll have to wait and see, but I don't know. That's one way they could book it.
If that happens, they should just take Bray Wyatt and throw him in a dumpster.
Mike actually pointed out to me today. But I'll get to you in a second because I want to point this out, something that Mike said about the streak in Bray Wyatt. But Marlon, I want to get your thoughts quickly about the segment at Fastlane. What were your thoughts about Triple H and Sting confronting one another on Sunday night?
Yeah, I was kind of bummed out that Sting didn't get to talk. That's what I was waiting for the whole time. I was kind of giving up on the segment until I seen him get the bat out. That was awesome. Been waiting for the bat the whole time. I didn't think they were going to even let him use the bat. I thought he was never going to get it out the whole time. But yeah, like I said, he could have talked instead of just pointing the bat in Triple H's chin, whatever. Why wouldn't he just hit the bat out of his hands? So like RJ said, it made him look kind of weak. Yeah, I know RJ wants Triple H to beat Sting. I wouldn't be surprised to just see bam, pedigree, Triple H wins. That's it. Sting's done. That's what I think is going to happen.
Well, you don't want Triple H to win, do you,
No,
RJ?
I want Wyatt to win.
Oh, you want Wyatt to win next year. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, I want Wyatt to beat Undertaker.
Yeah, that's the result that you want. Okay. It's a lose-lose either way, but, yeah, I mean, Bray Wyatt after losing last year. What was that, Marlon?
Oh, sorry, I didn't think too much of the confrontation. It was cool. We all knew how it was going to go, set up the match, whatever. It wasn't anything to me.
Yeah, I mean, it was basically
the crowd sucked.
Yeah, it was basically what I thought it was going to be, but the execution of the segment was what I enjoyed about it. But you mentioned the non-talking from Sting, and I thought that part was great. And I mean, I was also looking forward to him talk, but it occurred to me when I was watching that video package on Raw the next night, and how during the build-up to Hogan Sting at whatever pay-per-view it was, Starrcade. It was Starrcade 97 or 98?
97.
Was it 97, Marlon?
97.
97, yeah. So they do that, and then Sting didn't say a single word for that entire build. And I think that's what they could, a year and a half. So I think that's what they could do with Sting, because he's not the greatest talker. I mean, he's good on the mic, but you watch his TNA work, and it's like, I mean, maybe it's because
imagine if as soon as WCW got bought out, Sting had actually signed with WWE in 2001, and then for 14 years he just hung out in the rafters and didn't talk, and then this is finally when he had a match.
14 years without saying a single word. It's like almost as long as Undertaker's undefeated streak, just not saying a single word. That'd be interesting. But yeah, it's one of those what-if situations, whereas if Sting signed on, I think he was actually going to sign on due to a match at 18, actually, against Kurt Angle. That was actually written in at one point, and it didn't happen. But nevertheless, going back to what I was saying before, I think it's best that he doesn't say anything until after WrestleMania, because he doesn't need to say anything. I think Triple H is as good of a talker as he is. He can go on like kind of a tangent sometimes, but I think like on Sunday when he's motivated and he has good material, I think Triple H has gotten a lot better with his promos, especially recently. I mean, he's always been great.
2003, the guy was a freaking could have won Oscars for his fucking mic.
No, I know, but in recent years with the authority stuff, he's got to shake.
It's so bland. It's so like
that's not
generic.
It's the material that he's given to work with. But yeah, I think that's what should happen with Sting and Undertaker. But going back to what I was saying before, Mike and I were talking earlier about Bray Wyatt and Undertaker, and he made a very good point in that he also agreed it's a lose-lose situation. But do you think if Bray Wyatt were to defeat Undertaker, it would diminish Brock Lesnar's win from last year, saying that not only could Brock beat him, but I could beat him too? So that doesn't make Brock Lesnar unique. Do you believe that?
Wow.
I think it does, because he beat him. He actually beat the streak. I think after the streak's broken, you could just say after the streak was broken, Undertaker was a demolished man. Tried for another run. Bray Wyatt beat him. I think obviously that does make sense. But then why the hell would they have Bray Wyatt lose again at WrestleMania? We already saw what happened last year.
That's the issue.
That was the downfall of his career last year, is when he lost to John Cena. No one gave two shits he won the Extreme Rules match. Then he got legit buried at Payback. Then he fought Jericho, which was that feud kind of sucked. And then he was in the championship match at Money in the Bank.
To him.
Yeah, he lost to Jericho at Payback. No,
Battlegrounds.
Lost in Money in the Bank. Then he wins at SummerSlam. All right, who cares? Then he was off TV to Hell in a Cell. Then he started getting some momentum. Right when he came back with the Hell in a Cell 2, people really didn't give two shits about him. Then they had him eventually winning over to Aaron Burroughs and stuff like that. So why do you build this guy back up again just to lose again? And it's not like they can re-up the Undertaker feud, because Undertaker's done after WrestleMania. So what's he going to do after WrestleMania after all these great promos and build for 2 months? Oh, I lost to Undertaker. What the hell does he do next? Because if you lose to Undertaker, then who's he going to wrestle?
He can't go to the world champion at that
exactly.
point.
It would make no sense. It'd make more sense for him to win than it would have him to lose. Because they built him up for freaking 4 or 5 months. His comeback in Hell in a Cell was October. They pretty much made it back for him to come back and be top heel. He had a great Royal Rumble. He's had a good match over the last couple months. So they build him up just to have him lose again would make zero sense. It would just be like the Cena thing. Cena was worse, though. But
Cena was last year, yeah.
He will beat Undertaker and be. I think he'll beat Undertaker and probably feud with Reigns after he wins the belt, and then they've just kind of tied that over until Seth cashes in. That's just what I think. He has to beat Undertaker.
I could see that.
I think exactly. I think they need to. If he comes out and beats Undertaker, he'll easily be he'll be the number one contender for the title.
Oh yeah, easily. Then you can do Roman and Bray, and like you said, he would just do before Seth cashes in eventually. So I could see that. But
it's a good first feud for Reigns and everything too, especially over someone who just beat the Undertaker. So
it's something fresh too. Wyatt's a great worker. He can carry him to a really good match. But what were we saying before? About a year ago too. Oh, the Cena Wyatt stuff. I mean, that was easily the downfall of his career. And they've done a nice job of building him back up. But CM Punk said in his podcast a couple months ago that he didn't want to lose to Taker at WrestleMania because he knows he's not going to get his win back. That's the issue with Taker working with like current guys. Because when he was working with current guys, which was, oh God, when? Like Edge or something. Like when Edge lost him at WrestleMania, he beat him like in that TLC match. You know what I mean? A couple months later. Or Batista, same thing. I can't think of anyone else.
Mark Henry gives a shit.
Yeah, I mean, that's going
Kane and him have traded so many times.
Yeah, I mean, we're going
you
far
could
down
say,
the rabbit hole.
Down the line, like him and Big Show. And like
everybody. Yeah, because he's still a main active.
I don't know about him and Flair, but like you said, like exactly, it's a great point. Like Punk said, he can't get that win back because Taker's only once a year. And it looks worse for him because then they say you lost to Undertaker, and then when you go. It's not like you can revamp that loss. I think Wyatt needs to win. I think it would just be another year that they just fucked up his booking by having him lose to Cena and then having him lose to Undertaker, especially at WrestleMania. I don't care if he lost if he won at WrestleMania and lost Extreme Rules and Payback, it wouldn't mean much because everyone thinks of the WrestleMania win. But if you lose at WrestleMania, the biggest night of the year, then it's like, who cares? Most people watch WrestleMania, so even
only
if
WrestleMania,
exactly. The casual fans are just gonna watch WrestleMania because it's the best event of the year. So like, if they see him lose, then they see him like win at like or they probably won't even see the pay-per-view. That's the last thing they think of a guy like, oh, he lost John Cena, he must be a loser.
Yeah,
they imply him as a loser.
Exactly. So that being said, kind of moving into the next feud that also involves John Cena. John Cena and Rusev having a pretty good matchup, like you said before, at Fastlane. But it looks like we're also getting again at WrestleMania. I'm not pissed because we already kind of knew this beforehand. We all saw this coming, I mean, how many months ago? We were talking about this. I mean, there's a clip on the YouTube channel of us talking about Rusev and Cena, why it should not happen, back in like September. So, I mean, this is obviously not shocking or breaking news, but Rusev's losing at WrestleMania. I'm glad they delayed the inevitable and they didn't do it on Sunday, and I'm glad he won via knockout. But it just bothers me that they made this guy mean something. Like, when he debuted, I don't know about you, but I couldn't care two shits about this guy when he first debuted. Like, he seemed, like we were talking about, we joked about it, the next Vladimir Kozlov. But they made him mean something. He's a really good worker, like we've seen from him. But, they build up this undefeated streak for nothing. For a guy like John Cena, like with Wyatt, he does not need the win. So, I don't know. I just don't get it.
Do you think that Rusev could beat him, though?
That's what I thought with Wyatt. Like, oh, they should learn from their past mistakes, and they did. Like, I don't see it.
I think they might have a smart... Because I hate saying that Cena will win, but I feel like the only reason they're really having him do it, because the U.S. title and those titles have been shit for so long, that they might have the undefeated Rusev lose to John Cena, and that John Cena's the guy to hold the U.S. title to make it come back to something and have an up-and-comer come and beat Cena. Like a Sami Zayn or one of them. So it would make the U.S. title feel something that the 15-time world champion who's holding the title beat the toughest U.S. champion they've had in the last 5 years probably, because that title's meant nothing really.
Yep.
Rusev's hold it for like, I don't know how long. At least half
Since
a year.
November. So
yeah.
3 or 4 months, yeah.
Yeah, so exactly. He's been undefeated since he's come back. He's beaten all these guys that no one cared about, but beat Cena.
Big Show, Mark Henry.
Exactly, but I think that's the only reason they would have him win. If he beat Cena, then that would still be a plus because then he beats Cena again. But then where do they go from there? Because then Cena would want to like a rematch Extreme Rules.
That's shit. Exactly it.
They're whatever this feud is, they will have it go for 3 months.
Like they did with Wyatt. They dragged that.
And it would even look even worse if they had Cena win, then Rusev win it back at Extreme Rules. Because then Cena would be like, I want a rematch, and then he'd have a payback. And
yeah.
And just stupidness. I hope Rusev goes over, but after last year and being disappointed about the whole Wyatt stuff, I think he's doomed.
This is what I think's gonna happen. Cena wins the belt at WrestleMania, and he loses it back to Rusev at Extreme Rules. And then you have someone interfere in that match, and John Cena's next feud kicks off. With who, I have no idea. But that's what I see happening, unfortunately. What I would do is, in a dream booking scenario, you have Rusev go over at WrestleMania, and then he's like, I beat John Cena on the grandest stage of them all. And that night after WrestleMania, the same night he debuted at last year, I'm going to issue an open challenge to anyone on the roster. Sami Zayn comes out and beats him. And he gets the big rub. Like, I know you were saying, like, whoever beats Cena gets the big rub. But, I mean, I think even having Rusev be the face of the company gets a big rub from beating him and getting that win and having him retain that title against the face of the company.
Yeah, but the thing is, I feel like that's just like, he's worked up all that way to win, and then he loses the next night to an upcomer. I think that just like...
It's like out of the ordinary.
It kills his whole booking, though.
No.
Everyone's starting this big, strong guy, and then Sami Zayn comes and beats him.
It doesn't have to be Sami Zayn. It could be anyone from NXT. Kevin Owens. It could be Adrian,
Kevin Owens,
Neville.
but still,
you know what I mean?
But I think if they have him win, they should let him hold it for a little bit. Don't just let him lose right away. I get like the whole cocky, like I beat John Cena.
But where do you go with Rusev after WrestleMania? Title or no title with John Cena? Where do you go with him after that? Where do you
John Cena they can put with anyone.
No, Rusev. That's the thing. That's
the thing with the mid-card titles.
With these guys, well, not even with the mid-card titles.
The undefeated streak is what kills these guys.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I was kind of happy with Baron Corbin, how he already lost, so you don't have to worry about.
Yeah, Ryback too. Nah. The aftermath could have been there with Ryback. I'm not going to go on a huge tangent about this, but they made him lose every pay-per-view match. That was what killed him.
But it's just like, the undefeated streak, people think it's so much, and Rusev's been undefeated for so long, like, once he loses, everyone's like, okay, I could give two shits about this guy now.
The aftermath has got to be there, I think. But I don't have faith in them to ever. They have never done that correctly. Like with Vladimir Kozlov, that was all about the undefeated streak, but he wasn't any good, though.
Exactly. At least, I think Rusev's good enough that they could salvage
They could do
a
something
loss.
with him.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They could do something with him. I don't main event guy.
No.
I don't really see it. I think
upper mid-card, I can
He's
see.
an upper mid-card IC title. I think he's made the U.S. title mean much over the years, over this like past
Since
couple
he won
months.
it, yeah.
Since he's won it, I think obviously like no one really cared that he beat like Sheamus, and
he's made it mean more.
He's made it mean way more than anyone else because he's been booked correctly.
Yeah.
The booking is what the issue is. It's not the champion.
Exactly.
Like. We already know this, but
I think with Rusev, I think after WrestleMania, the biggest issue with these guys is, we've talked about this before, Sheamus, Jack Swagger, Wade Barrett, all these guys, they put them up against John Cena in like their first year, and then where do you go from there?
Exactly.
You gotta have nowhere to go.
When you put them with the top tier guys,
Bray Wyatt, the same exact thing.
You can't like. John Cena's the top guy.
Yeah.
If you think of WWE, you think John Cena's top. Even without the title, he's the top guy in WWE. You can't. Once you fight the top dog, you're going down.
That's exactly it.
So the same exact thing as Hogan back in the day. I mean, someone feud with him, come up for a couple months, lose, and then what they do after that?
Oh yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
In the 80s, they would just build up the heels only to feed to Hogan. But in 2015, I think it's different because you need these heels for the long term.
That's what they've done for WrestleMania for the last 2 years for Cena, though, too, like you say, with Bray Wyatt.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like, I mean, he already beat Rock at WrestleMania 29, too. So, I mean, I feel like he can take a loss this year, and he's not going to lose.
He should have taken a loss last year. It would have meant something.
Yeah.
That booking for that match was
ruined Cena and it ruined Cena for the next year, and it ruined Wyatt too. It ruined his match this year.
That booking was so like that whole feud had so much potential, and Cena had to go over, which I don't understand. Yeah, I think he's just so egotistical that he needs to win at WrestleMania. Like, get over it.
Yeah.
Like,
I couldn't believe
he did lose to The Miz, which sucks too, I guess. Now that I'm thinking about, like Graham's thinking about it, he did lose to The Miz.
He did lose to The Miz. Even with or without Rock's interference.
It still sucks. I don't know. I just think...
The thing is that that would have meant something if they did something with The Miz afterwards.
Yeah.
Whereas The Miz, I mean, he's doing well for himself now, but after that, he was in the crowd. He lost to Alex Riley a couple months after that. You know what I mean? So what does it really mean?
Exactly. I just think it has...
Let's like Michaels beating Brett for the title at WrestleMania 12 and then going on to be a mid-carder for the rest of his career. Like, that win solidified him as a star. With Miz, didn't do anything.
Well, that's because, like, that in 2009, 2010 period, wrestling was really, really down. I couldn't, I was very on
all
and
those
off.
people that were on top.
I was on and off during that time because, like, I don't give a shit about The Miz. I don't care about Jack Swagger. I don't care about Del Rio, Sheamus. All these guys were getting the title. People I could care shit. Like, I would just watch Raw, just DVR, and I just skip the whole thing because I could give two shits what happened. Like, I couldn't remember the last, like, that year was probably, those 2 years, probably the 2 years of wrestling that I really, since watching wrestling, I really gave two shits about.
09 and 2010 were like the John Cena, Triple H, and Randy Orton on top years. Like, you go back to 09, every main event is either Triple H and John Cena, Cena or Orton, or just every combination of those.
Because they had no one else.
That's exactly
like you said, because they brought Sheamus up. He had to face Cena, so then after you beat Cena or face Cena,
what has he done since then?
Exactly. Because and it's just like Wade Barrett. Wade Barrett's the thing. They brought Cena, then he goes down because once you face the top guy, and you're not a bigger star than him, you're going all the way down. Randy Orton can feud with Cena because he's a top guy.
Yeah.
You know who Randy Orton is. CM Punk, the same thing. But when you're Rusev or Bray Wyatt, you kind of need to beat Cena.
Well, that's exactly it, and I don't want to harp on this, but that's why with the brand split, after you kind of lost, like with Sheamus, after he, lost the WWE title and was kind of, quote-unquote, ruined on Raw, he went over to SmackDown, reigned as world champion for like 8 months. You know what I mean? Like with Rusev, if he lost to John Cena, it's okay, we'll bring him over to SmackDown and give him the world title. Like something like that, but with nowadays, there is no SmackDown, there is no World Heavyweight Championships, you can't do that, so if you lose to Cena, you're done. So that's why I'm really concerned for that match and Undertaker Bray Wyatt. It's kind of going back to that same thing. But before we go any further, I just want to ask Marlon, what are your thoughts on the whole Cena Rusev situation, and how do you see it playing out at WrestleMania and beyond?
Yeah, I don't have a problem with Cena winning, to be honest. It makes sense. Rusev's undefeated. No one's beaten him. Cena's, the top guy. He can beat anyone, so why can't he beat Rusev? I mean, whatever. He's going to win, I'm sure of it, so that's not a big deal. I think the way you can combat that is Rusev loses, and then he just goes and kills everyone for the next couple of months and kills Cena at the next pay-per-view, absolutely demolishes him, wins the title back, and then he can feud with whoever's the world champion, unless it's Seth Rollins, because that's not going to work. But Rusev can still survive a Cena loss because he's been booked pretty well the last couple of months. The only way to do it, though, is to just have him kill guys big time. Daniel Bryan, Dean Ambrose, Dolph Ziggler, just kill all those guys, get lots of heat on him, get the U.S. belt back, and then just go from there.
That's pretty much what I figure they'll do going forward. I mean, I'm not happy with the direction they're currently taking, but it's not like they're going to, I expect Rusev to win and then Cena wins. It's not like that. That could be a lot worse. But, yeah, I mean, you just got to take what you get.
Cena beat Bray Wyatt last year. I couldn't believe it. So this year I'm just kind of expecting him to win.
Dude, I almost got up and left. I was so fucking mad.
It was so depressing because at first, everything that happened before that WrestleMania was fantastic. And
I literally looked at my friend. I was like, dude, great. I might literally just go walk outside. I was so mad.
And the streak ended up right after that, too.
I love that part. But
no, yeah, I know, because it was Brock Lesnar and the way it was done.
I was still so mad. Cena wins. I'm like, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly what I said.
And a year later, and it still doesn't make any sense. But speaking of WrestleMania, Daniel Bryan's plans are not yet set in stone. I still have no idea what they're going to do. And that's what they should have ended the show with. If anything, you do your Rollins and Orton thing, and you have Sheamus come back and attack Bryan, if that's what they're going to do. So I'll ask you, RJ, first. What are your thoughts on Daniel Bryan's current course going into WrestleMania? Because right now they really have nothing for him aside from what's been rumored.
I feel like I think obviously they have a plan. We don't know the plan. They obviously have a plan, I think.
At this point, they have to.
They had to have a plan. They're freaking WWE. They always have plans. They have triple backup plans. I just think seeing another Sheamus Bryan match is something I don't want to see. I saw it at 27 in the dark match. Was it a great match? Not really. Then
for a mid-card match,
it worked because it was a dark match and it is what it is. It was for the U.S. title, but whatever. The next year in WrestleMania, they ruined Daniel Bryan and lose to Sheamus in 18 seconds. Just stupid. I don't know what the hell they were thinking. I think it's just that's something you don't do to a guy that could be a top-tier person. I think that was a mistake on their part. I think it kind of helped his career because then he kind of went heel a little bit more after that. The hell no.
I think it was the best thing that ever happened to him.
Yeah, it gave birth to the yes chant, but I won't say it buried Daniel Bryan, but I think it was so bad because we were all expecting a great match. Now we got Extreme Rules, but it should happen.
Exactly. We're expecting a good match and it ends in 18 seconds. It's the World Heavyweight Championship's a joke now.
It's not we should have gotten the 18 seconds thing with Del Rio and Swagger.
Exactly.
That's when it should have happened.
And then I'm not the biggest fan of Sheamus either. Like you said, he's had his better work. His best work was when he started off in WWE, beat Cena and that stuff as a heel. Him coming back as a heel, what would the story of him coming back and being Bryan would make no sense because he was wrestling, Bryan was hurt, then he's hurt and Bryan comes back.
There's no
story at all.
Organically,
what would the story be with Sheamus coming against? There's no way. I don't know how they're gonna interact them in a story because they both were gone for injury. Where they were it's just so confusing because I don't know what they're gonna do because they both are gone when the other one was hurt. And then we don't know when Sheamus is actually coming back. They keep saying he's coming back, but we don't know when he's coming back. And then, what would spark a feud between them? Daniel Bryan's already out of the title picture, so he can't, say he screwed him over in the title picture.
What's the motivation?
Exactly. There is no motivation.
That's why the match could be good. That's not my issue. It's the story that I like the most, and if there's no story there's no way I'm going to enjoy it. I mean, they can maybe, pull something out of their ass in the next few weeks.
I'd rather see a Rollins and Bryan match than Bryan and Sheamus again. I don't know. I wouldn't want to see a Sheamus and Orton match, but Bryan needs another good big match is the issue.
Yeah.
Do you want to see him in the Andre Giant Memorial? I don't think so.
Oh, no.
Because I don't think he'll win it, and I don't think it'll mean two shits if he wins it, because who's he going to beat? The Big Show, Curtis Axel, people that don't mean dick. So they need him in a big match after last year headlining WrestleMania, winning 2 matches. Now he's not even on like the main card of WrestleMania. He's behind all these matches that like people are already excited about, and he's kind of floating around in purgatory, not knowing what he's gonna do. I think they have a plan. Hopefully it's not Sheamus. They have no plan. Like there's nothing to keep. There's nothing for me to be interested. Just only thing that has me interested in this match is me that I like Daniel Bryan. Besides that, I could give 2 shits because I hate Sheamus.
Well, the thing is that I think with Sheamus, this is, again, another feud we've seen time and time again, but at least the motivation would have been there. The last time we saw Sheamus was when he was on Team Authority, or Team Cena. Remember going into Survivor Series? And he was supposed to be on his team. He got attacked by Mark Henry or Big Show or something. And who ran out to save him? Absolutely nobody. John Cena was nowhere to be seen. And that could be the story that they could use, that John Cena helped him, cost him a few months of his career. Like that, as at least something. Because like you said,
that has nothing to do with Daniel Bryan, though.
No, I'm saying that's why they should have done Cena and Sheamus. Like you have Cena get his match. He loses his match on Sunday to Rusev, and you do Sheamus and John Cena at WrestleMania. Again, a feud I don't want to see again.
But what did you do with Bryan then and Rusev? You wouldn't have them fight because that wouldn't make sense.
But again, at least the story there would be with Sheamus, and you could do something else with Daniel Bryan. Like Bryan and Sheamus, I don't really care to see. And then with Bryan, you could do something else. You put him in. The triple threat's out of the question. I don't want to see the title match. That world title match turned into a triple threat because we saw that last year. There's really not many options. I mean, you just do Bryan and Dolph Ziggler. I mean, there is a story there that they want to steal the show, and they've already kind of established that, and I wish they would go in that direction. Maybe they will, but right now it's looking like we might get a 4-way for the Intercontinental title involving fucking R-Truth and Dolph Ziggler and Bad News Bear, who doesn't mean anything, and Dean Ambrose has cooled off in the last couple months. So
what would you the thing is, like, that would be like, that makes sense. I feel like those guys are kind of, besides Dolph Ziggler, I think Ambrose has kind of been treated like as a mid-card guy recently.
After main eventing Raw for a week.
Exactly. I think he's above that, but that's where he's kind of been put lately.
And main eventing 2 pay-per-views.
Exactly.
But
that's another rant for another day. But I think they have, like, Ambrose is obviously a main event guy. I think Ziggler has the main event potential. But they're kind of like, they have nowhere to put him, so they kind of put him in the IC title thing. Like, I think if they put Daniel Bryan in that match and he won, I would give 2 craps. If Daniel Bryan was put in a fatal 4-way for the IC title, where the title means nothing, to a guy that lost to freaking R-Truth.
And Sin Cara.
And Sin Graham, I say it so fast I didn't catch it. Sin Cara, for God's sakes. Like, even if Ambrose wins it, it's like winning a piece of trash.
Because it doesn't mean anything.
Because it means nothing. It means nothing. They could literally take that title and put it in the trash, and it literally wouldn't mean anything. They have a better chance with bringing back like the European Championship, or just bringing back another championship and just putting the IC title in the trash, because it literally means shit right now. Because people keep winning and losing it, and the people that keep winning it have the worst booking ever, and they keep losing with the title. It's not like they're just losing to good people. Losing to guys that don't
randomly, that don't make any sense.
Randomly lose to people that doesn't matter. Brad News lost to who? Who did he lose last night?
He lost to Dolph Ziggler.
Okay, that means something. Clean.
Yeah.
That's not good though. But it just makes no sense to lose to Sin Cara. R-Truth, for Christ's sake.
R-Truth has been relevant like 4 years.
They should,
exactly.
Like, I don't know.
The thing is that I don't agree with the argument that putting Barrett and Ambrose in a feud is going to revitalize the Intercontinental title. I like the feud. It could be a really good feud, but the issue isn't who's feuding for the title. The issue is not who's champion. It's them fucking losing match after match. When you lose match after match, no one cares about that title.
Just like the United States title meant nothing when Dean Ambrose had it, because he never defended it, so it didn't matter. He didn't defend it for like 6 months, for Christ's sake.
That title meant more with Ambrose than the IC title does with Barrett, because at least he was losing.
He was still winning matches, but he just didn't defend it.
Yeah, exactly. That's why it was meaningless.
So dumb.
Imagine if in '89 Ultimate Warrior lost every single match and then just went on to the main event of WrestleMania 6.
Exactly. That's why that match meant something with Warrior and Hogan, because that title was built up to mean something. I mean, the title, that was 20 years ago, but that title's meant trash. Lots of 10.
Yeah, for sure. Even in like 2004, Shelton Benjamin, guys like that still meant something.
Exactly.
Those guys were winning their matches.
Randy Orton made that title, but like I said, Intercontinental title used to mean something. If you beat one Intercontinental title and then you lost, you're the next one to main event. I remember, I don't know if it was 02 or 03, No Mercy. They had Kane, the IC title champion, against Triple H, who's the World Heavyweight champion. That means something. Even if Kane loses and he puts a good showing on, that means whoever has the IC title has a chance to run with the World Heavyweight champion or a WWE champion. If you're Bad News Barrett, do I think he's going to beat Brock Lesnar?
That's the thing.
If he loses to Sin Cara.
Like, the IC title got unified against the European title and the Hardcore title. The IC champion won both times. That's why that title was kept. It was an important title.
It means something when they keep winning. If like the Usos lost to Los Matadores every week, would I care about the tag team championship? No.
Exactly.
They need to think of the booking. At least the Divas championship hasn't changed in a while. And Nikki Bella wins. It's like she loses to freaking Rosa Mendez and Cameron.
That's exactly
Cameron and Eva Marie on main event.
Yep.
They need a. They just. I don't get it.
The thing is with that championship, you go down the line who has held that IC title in the last couple of years. That's exactly it. That IC title should be looked at as a stepping stone to the World Heavyweight Championship.
Cody
Rhodes, Barrett, Kofi, Miz. If any of those guys have been world champion in the last 3 or 4 years, they've been in the same place than they were. Big E. They're in the same place as they were in 2011, 2012. Big E. Like none of these guys.
Big E, I thought had a chance. They squashed that. Exactly.
They ruined him too.
They ruined him when they put him in the New Day.
Curtis Axel.
Curtis Axel.
I thought he could do something.
I thought he had a chance. He was freaking beating Triple H and Cena, and then all of a sudden he's nothing.
Yeah, what he's doing now as Axelmania is better than what he was doing as Intercontinental.
Exactly.
What a match last night.
What a match, against Ryback. Yeah.
I don't get their booking. You want to make your mid-card strong, but if the mid-card titles mean nothing, and they keep losing to lower-tier people, then not even the hardcore fans will just be like, this title sucks. Even the casual fan will be like, this guy's a champion, he loses every week? That makes no sense. It just it makes no sense what the real issue is.
Pretty much. I mean, that title never... I don't even know how you would go about making it mean something. I mean, it's as simple as making them win matches.
The only way in recent... If they wanted to make something, they would have to have a guy like Ziggler or Bryan win the title. They hold it for a couple months. They go on and beat the World Heavyweight Champion. They would have to do like the Ultimate Warrior Hogan thing. Have the IC champion beat the World Heavyweight Champion.
Which hasn't been done since.
Exactly. So which would make sense is then it'd be like, the IC champion can beat the World Heavyweight Champion. But we already know Daniel Bryan could do that.
But you can't even just do it that fast. You have to build him up again before that.
Over time.
But I think Daniel Bryan's over enough that people wouldn't need to build up that much.
Yeah. You'd have to defend the title for the title to mean something because, Bryan's over, but the title has to get over.
Yeah, like you said, hold it for a couple months or for a while,
Like they could have, SummerSlam, like Seth Rollins versus Daniel Bryan
exactly.
for the IC title.
Remember, a couple years ago, Royal Rumble 08, I was watching it on the network. It was Jeff Hardy as Intercontinental Champion facing Randy Orton, the WWE Champion, and they came this close to winning the belt on that night. That was a great feud match, and it made that title mean something because the Intercontinental Champion. Too. Yeah, exactly. So, he was over as all hell in 2008. But still, though, that's pretty much all it takes. And that's, like you said, you put it on Dolph Ziggler, you make it rain, make him reign as Intercontinental Champion for a couple months. And every time I think they're going to start to do that, like after when he beat The Miz for the belt, like Night of Champions or something, and he won against Cesaro.
Luke Harper.
Luke Harper, that whole thing, he was going as champion for a while. He had that awesome-ass ladder match at TLC, and you think it's going to mean something again. He drops the title to Bad News Barrett 2 weeks later in the first episode of Raw. And Bad News Barrett, you go back and watch the final Raw of 2014. His music hits against Cesaro. The crowd, they don't go crazy, but there's a nice pop there. They're like, oh, Bad News Barrett's back, because he meant something before he left. And in the next week, literally the next night, he lost to Sin Cara. It took him a week to fucking ruin this guy. Oh my God, it just bothers the hell out of me. But
Well, I thought because everyone was talking about Wade Barrett was maybe going to win Money in the Bank against Seth Rollins.
Yeah, exactly.
So then when he came back, I'm like, okay, he's going to win the IC title again. That's kind of his thing. He wins that, and then right away, it's like, what is the point?
Exactly. Like we said, I don't know if it was last week or the week before, but like you said, richer get richer, poorer get poorer. There is no
exactly. There's no mid card right now. It literally is.
That's why they're really
upper mid card or main event scene.
Ziggler, Ryback, Ambrose. Yep.
Or you're just absolute shit, and there's plenty of shit.
Barrett, I think, is good, but they've ruined him where he's in that
Barrett
shit
is in that shit category. They just ruin guys.
Ryback, Sin Cara, R-Truth, Adam Rose, the people, Fandango, people don't care about are in that shit category. And they have to result to those people, they have to revert to those people beating the mid-card champion because they have no one else.
Another thing I think they should do, which is not that big of a change, But if they ever tried to make the IC title mean something again, change back to the old belt. Get rid of the white belt.
It's not a bad design.
It's not. I'm not saying it's a bad design. I'm saying people associate the white IC title with the shitty people that meant nothing. If Daniel Bryan brought back the old IC title and made it mean something again, people would actually vitalize it again.
I think that was the mindset behind why they switched it the first time a couple years ago.
Because in 2009, 2010, no one gave a crap. That's why.
Oh, they've been burying the title ever since.
Exactly. Freaking Cody Rhodes lost a big show at WrestleMania 24 or 28. I was watching today.
Lost it a month later.
Yeah, exactly. And then lost it the next month at Extreme Rules.
That's exactly it.
It makes no sense.
I just watched that today.
No.
Exactly. I watched it today, and I was like, this is ridiculous. They really...
Give Big Show his big win at WrestleMania.
I think even this would make a lot of sense, and it means something. Say that Bryan wins the title, goes throughout the whole spring into summer, holding the title. SummerSlam, him versus Rollins for the title. Title for title. Rollins wins the title. Next night in Raw, the Authority. I think the Authority will be around for a while. People can keep bitching. They're going to be around for a while. See them leaving anytime soon. Rollins goes, you know what? I have this title that doesn't really mean nothing to me. I am already champion. Someone from NXT comes up, maybe a Kevin Owens, so like that. He joins the Authority, and Rollins goes, "Here you go. You're the IC champion now." So you associate Bryan holding it, so that's a strong title. Then you have Rollins win it, so he's strong. Then you give it to a guy that's up and coming that people will know, like a Kevin Owens or Finn Balor, and be like, "All right, this title means something." Then make them mean something after they have the title. If you keep having to change every month with guys that keep winning and losing to people that don't matter, then it means nothing.
It's changed hands every month.
Ziggler has become the hottest or the coldest guy in a matter of months.
Yep.
He was one of the hottest guys coming out of Survivor Series. Wins TLC, and then he just shits the bed.
Yeah, got fired, and that did nothing for me. That's a complete waste of time.
People didn't care. That's
Lost
why.
at Fastlane, too. He got pinned by Kane. Kane pinned him in the fucking opening match of fucking Fastlane. Sorry, I just broke the mic over here.
Kane pinned.
Kane, not even Seth Rollins. Fucking not even Jon Stewart beat this guy. He got pinned by Dolph. He got pinned by Kane.
It should have been Eric Rowan. If Kane was going to beat someone or Big Show was going to beat someone, it should have been Eric Rowan.
Oh my
It makes
God.
no sense for Ziggler to get pinned.
Exactly.
Clean! Dolph Ziggler in 2015
punch, man.
lost-
Doesn't beat anyone.
Exactly.
lost to Kane clean.
And they're going to put these two on the card, too. That's a concerning part. Big Show and Kane. They got to keep those guys far away from that WrestleMania card. I'm hoping they tackle
They're
them.
Andre Giant.
Oh, yeah, that's a good place for them.
That's exactly where they belong.
That's exactly where they belong. I agree.
They'll blow up Kane's numbers in the Royal Rumble, make him seem
Yep.
that he's the big bad machine,
Yep,
and he'll
yep.
get thrown over by Los Matadores, like fourth person in. Just kidding. They'll knock everyone out, and it'll be between those two idiots, and one of them will win.
Oh, no. Don't even say that. Don't even say that.
After the Royal Rumble, what can you assume?
Yeah, that's true. That's exactly it. But before we go off the air, one quick question. Marlon, I'll start with you. Who do you think, early prediction, is going to win the Honor the Giant Memorial Battle Royal this year?
Ooh, I didn't even think it was going to be on the card. I thought it was not even going to make it this year. I thought everyone was talking about it, and they weren't even going to do it. Early prediction, I thought it would have been Ziggler, but like you said, they're going to go in the Fatal 4-Way direction, it seems like. Mizdow's got to be the guy because Miz is in the match already, so they're clearly not doing Miz versus Mizdow at WrestleMania, so I think it's going to come down to those two in the end, and Mizdow's got to win it.
Couldn't agree more. That's what I'm booking, too. RJ?
Axelmania, baby. Curtis Axel with an upset of a lifetime.
He's tossed out 1 second into the match.
That'd be so funny, dude.
Guarantee he'll get thrown through the middle of the rope, fall out, and he'll somehow throw like the Big Show or Kane over. He'll win. They're not gonna build him up just to get like squashed.
They're just doing this just to kill time. I promise you. Yes, they are.
No, they're not.
Curtis Axel. If he wins it, I owe you $1 million.
Right.
I said the same thing to John when the streak got broken last year. I said, if Brock wins, I owe you $1 million. If Brock wins, he's like, you owe me $1 million. Oh my God.
Wait, one more thing. I want to talk about the Jon Stewart and Seth
go ahead.
thing.
Go
I think
ahead.
that's actually something that like they just said on Raw. I don't think that was meant for something.
No.
Jon Stewart obviously answers. Seth Rollins responds.
That was really
and
cool.
I saw that they have live tapings or live Live in New York City this coming Friday.
Yeah. Yep.
So I think they could tape us. I think this is something that could help Seth Rollins.
Yeah.
Get him on the mainstream TV that most people wouldn't see him. exploit him, even do like an angle with him and Jon Stewart. I don't think it'll come out to like a Mania match. I hope to God, they've done like Snooki and all those bimbos and freaking Maria Menounos. I saw that today. She did not belong on WrestleMania cards. Snooki or Mayweather. Mayweather was even a stretch with Big Show.
Yeah.
But even just like have a good segment, just something that brings it out to the casual person that wouldn't know who Seth Rollins is. I think this is a perfect opportunity to get Seth Rollins out to people that know wrestling, just don't know him in general.
Yeah. It helps get the focus off the scandal last week, too.
Exactly.
I mean, no one's talking about it now, but I mean, maybe they would have been after. I don't know if that had not happened, but I think even Jon Stewart's response. I know he's a TV personality, but he was great.
He was so funny.
If he was reading up a script, he did it amazingly because I thought that was awesome. But Marlon, any final thoughts on the Jon Stewart thing?
Jon Stewart, Seth Rollins, WrestleMania, book it.
Hashtag book it.
And Jon Stewart wins, and then Rollins cashes in later on that night. Just do it. Hashtag book it.
Randy Orton for Sheamus.
Then Jon Stewart can rightfully be the number one contender to the title.
I could see that. Brock Lesnar versus Jon Stewart next time on the Raw. Hashtag book it.
They've done freaking plenty of stupid stuff in WCW.
What's his name? I forgot his name when I did it the first time.
Jay Leno.
Arquette.
No, Jay Leno. But who
David Arquette.
David Arquette. Yeah.
David Arquette won the WCW Championship.
They can bring back the Triple Cage match too.
Now, why not? Why not just bring everything? While we're bringing in Sting, bring everything back from WCW.
Exactly.
Triple Cage, bringing Abdul the Butcher, and the fucking getting electrocuted in the chair match, whatever that was.
I watched that the other day, and I was like, "This is horrendous."
Really? Oh my god! And Mick Foley was involved in that shit too. That's how bad it was. Oh my god, I feel bad for him. But that's gonna close it out. WrestleRant Radio this week, our first post Fastlane show on the road to WrestleMania.
First Fastlane show ever.
Yeah, we got 4 weeks to go until WrestleMania. We got next week after that, and then WrestleMania week.
I have another question for Graham.
Go right ahead.
Was Fastlane better than the Elimination Chambers from the past? I know you're a big hater on the February pay-per-view, so you've got very high reviews on the Fastlane show, so I want to get your thoughts on the Fastlanes compared to Elimination Chamber.
Good question. Better than last year's Elimination Chamber? Yes. The Wyatt match was amazing, but the rest of that show was not good. 2013...
I like the Elimination Chamber last year.
It had its moment. The Chamber match itself was good. I don't know. I did the pay-per-view itself.
There's too many run-ins, I feel like. The Wyatt family ran in, and Authority got involved.
Yeah, that was bad. Yeah.
Then lose at WrestleMania.
2013 was okay. The only real Chamber match, Chamber pay-per-view that I'll say was on par with last night's show on Fastlane. Go back and watch 2011. Like, that was a great show.
Was that the one that Jericho got screwed?
That was 2010.
No, but that's the best one.
That was a good one too. I haven't seen that one, so I can't say that one was. I mean, based off the results, it was really good, but I haven't seen it yet. But 2011 was really good. But I would say the match, the pay-per-view itself, Fastlane, was better than the Chamber pay-per-view. I missed the Chamber match, and I wish they'll bring it back at some point. But I think it was better than Elimination Chamber. I mean,
better if they have it only ever once or once every 2 or 3 years.
That's what I'm hoping for. I mean, I'm hoping that I'll get rid of it.
When you have 6 guys that really deserve to be in there.
Exactly. That's what they should do instead of what is it? That's what they should do with Hell in a Cell. Bring it back every once in a while instead of stupid pay-per-view. TLC too, but that's a little enjoyable sometimes. The Money in the Bank should stay where it is. But nevertheless, RJ, of course, this is our road to WrestleMania. So any more bold predictions before we go off the air?
Bold predictions.
Anything you expect to happen next week after on the road to WrestleMania? Might as well state them now because we're at the beginning of the road to WrestleMania.
I'm trying to think.
So much can happen.
I don't think I have a bold prediction, but I hope they weed out the shit guys and bring in some NXT people.
Night after WrestleMania, I'm calling it.
Not even night after WrestleMania. I want Owens, Balor, and Zayn and all them. All the guys are the top guys in NXT. I want them in before SummerSlam.
I could see that. I think Balor
or a night after SummerSlam.
Oh, yeah, I could see that, too. I could see Neville or Zayn, though. I think they're ready than the other two.
I think the other two are ready as it is.
Yeah, exactly. Well, no, I think, but they've been in NXT for such a short time, they can be in there a little bit longer, because there's more matches for them to do.
Yeah.
Zayn and Neville still have pretty much exhausted every option, for the most part. But so I hope to see.
What are you going to say about Balor? I didn't hear what you said.
Balor, what do you mean?
You just said you could see him coming up when?
With Owens at the same time as Owens. Same thing with Tommy. I think he could be down there for a little bit longer, more than Balor and Owens, because I think he's not as ready based off his mic skills. But everything else about him is great.
When they date Tommy, they should have him and Balor tag.
That'd be good.
Start off.
Someone mentioned that to me. I think if you have him do a tag team, move up to IC title, go back to traditional here and go back tag team, mid card, main event. But when was the last time they did that with anybody that was actually
but I feel
successful?
like these guys are well known than like a Sheamus.
Yeah. So I'm hoping they don't take that route. Hopefully they can go traditional and they can do mid card or tag team mid card or whatever. I think that'd be awesome. But Marlon, thanks so much for joining us, man. It's been a great time. Thanks for it's been awesome. Yeah, so we really appreciate it. But
thanks for having me on, boys.
No problem. But before we let you go, I want to let you plug your Twitter, Facebook, blog, anything you got going on, brother.
Yeah, I just got my Twitter. It's at Marlon the Man. I can't really shout out you guys. But, that's all I got is my Twitter, at Marlon the Man. You can catch my Instagram link on there, too, if you want to see some stupid-ass photos. That's all I got, boys.
Sounds good, man. At Marlon the Man on Twitter. Make sure to follow him. Thanks for coming on, man. I'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, take care, boys. Thanks again.
No problem. Talk to you soon, man. Dude.
Bye-bye.
See ya. RJ, your time to shine. Let's go.
Plugs, Molly, Cam, Shannon, Graham. I'm not really feeling it tonight.
Again, second straight week.
I'm just tired, dude. At Raymond_Marceau on Twitter. And where's SummerSlam 2015 gonna go? That's hashtag. Where is SummerSlam 2015 gonna be?
I'm hoping it's gonna be in the New York area.
They said that. I saw reports the other day. So it's gonna be
too.
Barclays, Prudential, or MSG, I think, but they said MSG's long shot because it's going to cost a ton.
Yeah, I don't think MSG's.
I think they should go Barclays.
That'd be nice. I heard today that Met Stadium in New York is going to be hosting a wrestling event in June.
Yeah, it's City Field. It's going to be like Goldberg, Bret Hart.
I got to go, dude. I got to go meet Goldberg, dude. I got to meet Goldberg.
So bad.
I want to meet RVD.
I want to meet Bret Hart.
Bret Hart's going to be there?
I think they said Bret Hart was
there.
What
the fuck?
I swear to God.
I want to meet Bret Hart. Oh, Jesus. If that's like $100, it's so worth it. But,
I'm pretty sure they said Bret Hart, too.
Oh, man, that'd be so awesome.
Right now. I swear it said Bret Hart.
Oh, that'd be amazing if I can go to that show.
I know it's Flair, Goldberg.
Yeah, RVD I heard is going to be there.
Who cares?
I want to meet the Nasty Boys.
Yeah, the Nasty Boys. I swear to God it said Bret Hart.
I didn't hear Bret Hart.
I thought for sure it said Goldberg and Bret Hart. Yep. Goldberg, Bret Hart, and Ric Flair coming to City Field.
Nice. I want to go meet Bret Hart and Goldberg. Ooh, and Ric Flair, too. That could be a great show. But that's June 7th. WrestleMania is on March 29th. Next week, we've got Sal on the show. Week after that, I'm not really sure who we've got. I'm pretty sure we got Jacob, who was supposed to be on the show last week. Couldn't make it.
Who's Sal?
Sal is from... Actually, he's one of John's friends, actually. He's from Connecticut. So he's going to be on the show. Connecticut is where it's at, brother.
Ooh, Connecticut people are terrible besides Graham.
And then on the 10th, I don't know who we have. I think we got Jacob coming on. 17th, we won't be here on campus. We're off on spring break.
I'll be partying.
Then 24th, final show, 2-hour spectacular. Michael Yoder, yourself, myself. WrestleMania prediction
2-hour show?
2-hour show, both pre-WrestleMania and post-WrestleMania.
Oh, my goodness.
That was your idea last year, and it worked out for the better, so we're going to do it again.
I think last year on the post-show, I don't think John was on the whole time.
He was not. He was
on
for
like 15 minutes, yeah.
But I talked to him. I was on the phone with him for like 3 hours a couple of days ago. We're talking about wrestling. We're talking about everything, dude. So I told him that post-WrestleMania this year, he's going to be on the full 2 hours. You guys are going to be arguing about everything.
I don't know about arguing about everything. We have different opinions on a lot of stuff, but...
Undertaker Wyatt, though, I think he shares the same opinions as you on that, but it's going to be interesting now. Yeah. It's going to be a good show, but... Any final plugs?
I don't have any plugs. I think like when you compare with other people, you think of the past. I always think of like older times.
Yeah.
I think of other people, like other people think of newer stuff, but I don't know. Whenever I analyze wrestling, I always go back to the days when I used to watch like earlier. So like Fastlane, when I look at it, it's like, oh, that pay sucked.
Compared to like 02, 03.
Comparing to 02 and 03, because I feel like I was spoiled as a kid just seeing all these great shows with all these great stars, and like now it's like people I care less about. But I think they're starting to rejuvenate the roster and stuff like that with like NXT guys, and like they've done good work with Rollins, Ambrose, Reigns, and Bryan. So I have my hopes up. But like I said, like when you're watching Stone Cold, The Rock, Triple H, Undertaker, HBK, like all those guys, Jericho in their prime, it was just unfair. It was it was just ridiculous. Like I couldn't complain about a show because they all were so good.
Yeah.
Guys like Rey Mysterio, Kurt Angle, like
exactly. Such a
Hardy
stacked
Boys,
card,
Hardy's, Jeff Hardy alone.
I loved watching 18-19.
I wasn't really a big fan of Matt Hardy because he was on I didn't really like the version 1 crap either, but it was funny.
The MFer.
It was funny because like they like whenever it came out, like they had the stupidest things. They said like
yeah,
Matt Hardy like
sandwiches.
I was gonna say Matt Hardy likes like mac and cheese and stuff, but it was still funny. But I just think like when I like argue, I just think of stuff in the past.
Yeah.
But I hope it's gonna be a good show of Mike and John, so I can't wait.
It's gonna be awesome. But like you said, you were spoiled then. We're spoiled now with the WWE Network.
Exactly. I'm really spoiled. I like whenever I'm really bored, I just go back and watch WrestleMania. Old WrestleMania, old 0203.
Right now,
prime
on the
WWE.
Road to WrestleMania right now, give a suggestion to the people. What WrestleMania should they watch immediately after tonight?
After tonight?
Yeah. What WrestleMania did you recently watch that you said, I love this show?
Probably 19.
19 was really
18
good.
was my first, but I always remember 19 more because I think 18 was really just overshadowed by Rock and Hogan.
Yeah.
Like
great match.
Austin and Hall. Yeah.
The rest of that card was, it was just solid effort.
It was
The
Kurt Angle and
Billy
Kane.
and Chuck one, I was like,
Billy and Chuck was like Kurt Angle and Kane was good for what it was worth.
Edge and Booker T fighting over
Edge
a
and Booker
shampoo
T
commercial.
was stupid. That match had no sense. Maven, like that 24-hour hardcore thing was actually pretty cool.
That was funny.
That was funny. Was that RVD and Regal that year?
Opener, yeah, for the IC
and then
title.
DDP.
DDP and Christian.
I could care less about DDP and Christian. Even as a kid, I didn't care about
that
them.
was random.
But Triple H and Jericho was good for
the main event,
for a main event. And then like 19, it was like Mysterio and Hardy, Michaels and Jericho, which is a great match.
Great.
Rock and Austin.
McMahon Hogan.
And Hogan was really good for what you would expect it to be.
Yeah.
It was really good for their age and
exceeded my expectations.
Exactly. And then Lesnar and Angle was good. One of the worst Undertaker matches, him against Big Show and A-Train. Don't know who thought the Los Guerreros, Rhino, and the guy I can't name, CB. I'm not gonna say his name. I want to get fired or fined by EC Radio, so I'm gonna name his name. And the World Greatest Tag Team was a good match too. Team Angle.
Match, yeah.
And then the other one was on the pre-show, was Dudley Boys versus Chief Morley. And,
they showed a recap of that, yeah.
But
with Lance Storm.
I thought 19 is very underrated, very good, and it's, like I said, very underrated. Going back and watching the show, I really remember more when I was a kid, but I think it's a really good show. Limp Bizkit hit it off on that WrestleMania. A couple good songs. Saliva the year before sucked, too. I watched 18 the other day, and Saliva was garbage.
I love the band, didn't like their performance on that show.
Oh my god, the guy was just screaming. Like the Triple H entrance, I was like...
They sang the theme for the Dudleys on that shoot.
It was so bad. So was the Triple H one, too.
Yeah, they did.
It was weird.
Nah, it's not Motorhead. It's not
Limp
Motorhead.
Bizkit just stick to the Undertaker one that he actually does.
Yeah. Roll. That was good. That was a good performance.
19's good. I'll recommend 19, 17, 18 just for Hogan and Rock.
My Way or the Highway?
What?
My Way or the Highway?
What do you mean? That's 17.
I know. I'm just saying. But
that song's good too. 20 I'd look forward to Rock. The handicap match was one of my favorite matches from that WrestleMania 20.
Oh, dude, I just watched that today.
Great match. Very underrated on that card.
Ooh.
That was a good match. The triple threat for the title was good.
It's way too long. That's all.
It was just so long. They had so much filler. Like they had 2 fatal 4-ways to the tag team matches. That was bland. The Cruiserweight Open was good for what it was worth. Was all the guys in it really worthy? No, but they had a good match. I like the Billy Kidmans and them, so that was good.
He's got a great theme.
Undertaker and Kane was all right. It was just good because Undertaker came back, really.
As a dead man, yeah.
Big Show and Cena was good, too. And then WrestleMania, I like WrestleMania 21, too.
I think there's a very underrated WrestleMania.
Very underrated.
Great undercard.
Great. I don't know, the main events weren't the greatest, though.
That's what I'm saying. Undercard was great. Cena
People
and JBL
crap all over the Batista, Triple H, and Cena.
I think they were good match. I think Batista Triple H was really good. I think there was.
I would have to go back and watch because I don't really remember it.
I just think the story was
and then
good.
22, all I think about is Rey Mysterio. So
yeah, that's the first. I haven't seen that yet, so I got to go back with that and watch them on the network.
It's a very short match. I don't even think it was the main event.
It was like 8 minutes.
It was 9.
It's 9 minutes.
Trish Stratus and Mickie James, I think, had a longer match.
What the fuck?
I think Triple H, not Triple H. I swear to God, Mickie James and Trish Stratus was like pretty close to the same amount of time.
It's crazy.
But it was a good match for how much they got time. So
yeah. So go back and watch WrestleMania.
Just go watch every WrestleMania besides 29 and 27 or 25, and you'll probably be pretty excited.
All really good WrestleManias, but go back and watch those on the WWE Network, which celebrates 1 year today. by the way.
Where's my free month? I still haven't got a free month.
I'm waiting for my free month too, but it's worth it. I love the service. So I'm going to go back and watch NXT Rival and all my favorite programs from the last year. But in the meantime, though, you can catch me on Twitter at WrestleRant, at Raymond Marceau, _Marceau, on Twitter, Facebook, Ram Houston Matthews, YouTube, same thing, Bleacher Report, same thing. We will be back next Tuesday night at live365.com/stations/ECTV 73 with another episode of WrestleRant Radio. So in the meantime and between that time, folks, have a great week, and we'll catch you then.